Please never use astrology as a tactic to get your ex back. I think one of the biggest funnels that draws people's interest into astrology is trying to understand, are they going to be compatible with the person they're with? Are they going to stay together forever? Or more frequently, why is this person that dumped me, why did they do it? We were so compatible, so why didn't it work out? I want to talk about a few different things here. Number one, there's so many different factors that go into astrological compatibility, right? Pop astrology would have you think that it's really just about a sun sign compatibility test, right? So like an Aries might be more compatible with a Leo, and we kind of stop there. At least as long as we're taking an astrological focus, you'd have to really look at a person's whole chart to understand the full picture, the full set of astrological nuances that would go into whether or not they would be compatible with a particular person. Their sun in a particular sign, that's what we typically think about when we think about an astrological sign. But there's also their moon sign, their rising sign. So your moon sign represents sort of your inner needs, your inner personality. It can have as much, if not more of an effect on compatibility than someone's sun sign. Your rising sign, right? That is sort of the persona that you wear. It's the social mask that people perceive you to have. That contributes a great deal to compatibility with someone. And those are only 3 points of significance in an astrological chart, right? You could also look at someone's Mercury, their Venus, their Mars, not just what sign they're in, but what house they're in, what aspects they make in relation to one another. If you don't know even what the hell I'm talking about right now, then watch some more of my videos where I kind of get into more of these astrological nuances, right? I try to present stuff in a approachable way. The TLDR is there's a lot that goes into compatibility. But now I'm kind of running up against my original point here, right? Which is you shouldn't ever be too reliant on that in order to kind of predict whether or not you're really going to work with someone. Having an understanding of your compatibility astrologically with someone is a helpful frame of reference. It's one other, tool to have in the toolkit. Things like love languages or Myers-Briggs or Enneagram. These are also things that can help two people that are in a relationship or are romantically involved and want to work on it. It can provide those set of languages, those frameworks for understanding each other better and maybe making sense of the relationship in kind of a unique way. The problem is most of the time, two people kind of have to be involved in that process and two people have to be sort of interested, right? Because if it's a one-sided affair where you are looking at your chart and their chart and you're trying to kind of predict the future, it's helpful to an extent, but you can never really do it. It doesn't give you what you think you want from it, because at the end of the day, being most genuinely yourself and trying to align with yourself and to stay grounded in who you are and what you want and what your boundaries are and kind of what you're looking for in a relationship, and also what makes you happy outside of someone else. What are you doing for yourself that contributes to your happiness that doesn't depend on anyone else? When you take care of all of those things, you are going to attract and bring the right type of people into your life. You're going to attract more compatible people. It's pretty easy to understand. It's not even some magic law of attraction thing. It's a product of you focusing your time and your attention and focusing on doing activities that are related to who you are and who you genuinely are, simply creating a greater probability that you're going to run into people that you get along with and that you're going to romantically align with. And if something doesn't work out, what is the backup? Taking an astrological perspective can help you maybe understand why you weren't compatible, or it can help frame maybe what you're looking for in the future. But what value does it have in terms of, focusing on that person that's maybe not in your life anymore? It's not like you can go to them and, pull out your chart and point at it and say, look, the stars said that we should have been together. So why the hell are you not coming back? Why are you not with me? no one is going to respond to that, and it's something that's going to drive you a little bit crazy. When people get broken up with and they're very heartbroken about it, and it was kind of a one-sided thing, like they still want to be with the person, people really grasp at anything that they can in order to kind of keep the fiction and keep the narrative alive, that they're still meant to be with this person. So people will grasp onto astrology, or they'll grasp onto these buzzwords or tactics that they can use, like the no contact rule, or searching Google and YouTube and all these relationship gurus who are really kind of like manipulation gurus, who tell you how to get them back, or they'll sell you an idea, or tell you to wait 30 days or 60 days and don't respond to their texts, or wait 60 days and then send them this and then do this, right? And sometimes that might seem comforting because it seems like there's a means to get back to what you want. There's a way to control this outcome and to change an outcome that you didn't expect maybe, or that you didn't want, and that you certainly didn't have control over. But they don't really work, right? Because we can't manipulate our circumstances in that way, right? We can just decide how we want to view things. We can decide what our mindset is going to be. And the best thing we can do is just stay grounded in ourselves and reconnect with who we are. And especially if kind of losing your authentic self is something that happened at the end of a romantic relationship, it's especially important to do that. The only real reason why things like the no contact rule work in those situations is because it has a secondary effect of forcing a person to stay grounded in themselves and to reconnect with themselves, and to not be so focused on putting their energy out onto other people and pushing a kind of anxious, needy, clingy energy out there, which repels people, right? A certain self-reliance and a certain stability and a comfort in being alone is a very attractive energy. And if you're really focused on trying to explain why you had compatible moon signs but they left you, like, that's not going to help you do that. It's still a way for you to kind of focus and leak your energy out in ways that aren't going to be super beneficial. Lastly, the third point, and I've sort of already touched on it in point 2, is that you need to really think about astrology as a tool for self-understanding and self-development primarily. Yes, it can arguably be leveraged in some cases to maybe forecast general trends or themes in your life, and you can use synastry analysis or composite chart analysis to, again, understand a relationship and your interaction with another person a little bit better. But ultimately, you are only in charge of your own narrative. You're only in charge of the meaning that you're giving to the world. You can't be in charge of the meaning that someone else is giving to things. And even though someone's natal astrology chart can reveal certain trends and themes about their life and their personality and their mode of being, even that is always somewhat subjective, and it's going to be colored by the individual observer's own biases and narratives and exercise of free will. And there's so much of that individual variability that is pushed through the concepts in a natal astrology chart, that imprint that they've been given and born with. Anyway, so keep all this in mind. If you are going through a breakup or going through a tough time, hang in there. Focus on yourself. This is a period when you can really reconnect with yourself and turn a challenge and emotional pain into real personal growth. But you have to be willing to embrace it and embrace the moment, and not try and control and explain so much as just rest a little bit in the uncertainty and rest in the reality of what's going on. And to the extent that you're going to use astrology in this situation, use it to reconnect with your most authentic self and with your purpose. And once you do that, everything in life, including your romantic relationships, are going to take care of themselves. I 100% promise you.